Alright, everyone. So, I just want to make a video real fast because everybody keeps claiming that white people have gotten more racist over time, or they're still racist, and that's why there's more black people unemployed now, and that's why there's more black people incarcerated, when it has nothing to do with that. It really has nothing to do with that. It has to do with policies that were enacted essentially to help black people, quote unquote, but it really hurt them, such as the minimum wage and welfare and all these ridiculous things that only ruin the black community. Um, I don't know if you guys know this, but look up the unemployment statistics. In the 40s and 50s, right before the 60s, there was probably like a 15% gap between employment between whites and blacks. And in the 40s and 50s, there was a lot more racism than there was today. Especially in the South, there were laws that specifically held African Americans down. Whatever. I don't even like calling them African Americans because we don't know if they're from Africa. I mean, people could be from freaking Cuba and they have dark skin. So I hate saying that term because anybody who studied race or biology for 10 minutes knows that there's no such thing as race. But I don't want to go ranting on that. This is what I was mainly going to show you guys. So, if it's due to racism, then why is it in this article that this, well, it's not an article, it's a good publishing, it's basically a report by a doctor who's, I believe he's obviously a statistician, that's what it says, but this was done in 1991, and this was for the prisoners admitted to state and federal institutions 1926 to 1986. And this is really shocking. So if you guys want to look this up, he used Bureau of Justice statistics, well, statistics from the Department of Justice. So these are actual statistics you can look up, and they're not lying about these statistics, anything like that. So please check out this report. It's really, it's a good for everybody who really still believes in this, that the black people down in this country and all this ridiculousness. So, oh yeah, look at this. This is how ridiculous people are that want to push this narrative. Look at 1926. Just alone. 21% of the prison population in 1926, 21% was black people. Or people they considered quote unquote black. That's also with state prison, not just federal. Look at the federal prison on the right. There was only 13% of black people in federal prisons. 23% for state in 1926, people. Are you going to really sit here and tell me that in 1926 there weren't more racism and racist laws that were holding black people back and actually making them not be able to be successful? Are you really going to sit here and tell me that? Let's hop to, let's say, 1940. 1940, 28%. 28% in federal and state. And let's see, as far as state, 23%. Let's jump to 1950. 30%. If you guys notice, it's kind of cyclical. It just keeps going. People are going to go, whoa, why is that? It's obviously not because of racism, people. Are you really going to tell me that people weren't less racist in 1950 than in 1926? If you deny that, then you don't live in reality. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're probably brainwashed so bad that you shouldn't even be speaking right now. I mean, you shouldn't even be interacting with other people if you really believe that people were less racist in 1926 than in 1950. Like I said, it has to do with certain laws that were enacted purposely. And it wasn't purposely just to target black people. It was to target everyone. It was to target drug users and all these random nonviolent offenders That's why the prison population has skyrocketed all across the board. But, and then I love people justify this. Well, we made these laws specifically for minorities. Are you really going to sit there and tell me that every black person in the 1930s did drugs? Are you going to try to sit here and tell me that there's something in black people's DNA that makes them predisposed to doing drugs? I mean, that's just absolutely stupid. If anything, that's more racist than anything. Saying that black people are just predisposed to doing drugs and being addicted to cocaine or something. That's just absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, look, let's just jump down to 1986. 44. Wow. And then also, too, if you want to look at this, look. When was the war on drugs enacted? If anybody wants to tell me that? 70s, right? It was under Nixon. So, if we look at 1970 to 1975, it went from 39% of the black people being in jail to 35% in 1975, and then 35% in 1976. Why is that? If it's the war on drugs and it has to do with those policies that specifically were made to target minorities, why is it the percentage didn't jump dramatically during those times? It's just been slowly going up. And it seems like as black people got more and more and more opportunity, more and more of them were in prison. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know why. There are laws that purposely make black people poor. That's what my whole contention is that there are laws that purposely make black people poor, like welfare. But the thing is, they were one of the major pushers of welfare, of the welfare system. I mean, Martin Luther King supported the welfare system. Almost every black leader supported the welfare system. They almost felt like it was reparations. And that didn't do anything. That didn't do anything positive. Because what happens is when you're more poor, you're more subjected and more likely to commit a crime because you're poor. So these statistics obviously are a reflection of how poor people have become since the 1930s and 40s. Like I said, there was less unemployment in the 1930s and 40s. There was almost literally black people had a higher percentage of having a full family, a mother and father in their home than white people did back in the day in the 40s and 50s. They took that seriously. They really did. They had a mother and father every single time. They stayed together. And this is pretty obvious that it has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with the war on drugs, like I said. The war on drugs targeted everybody because look at this. From 1975 to 1976, the prison population almost doubled. If you look on the left, it went from 42,351 to 69,746. But the black population in prison didn't double. It didn't even change. It's the exact same. So the war on drugs targeted everyone. Everyone. So that's another myth. So I'm going to include a link to this to see really good statistical analysis of the truth. And check this out. It's really eye-opening. It really disproves all the lies that the mainstream media are promoting. And yeah. So wake up, people. Stop living in a fake reality. This isn't Soviet Russia. Stop listening to your media. They'll lie to you every single day. They'll lie to you until you believe their lies. And this here proves it. This proves everything that I just said. So, please look this up. Stop listening to Alex Jones. Thank you.